To hear the depth of Verben Martin's devotion to all things Harley-Davidson, one might assume that he has spent nearly all of his 64 years on a motorcycle. Strangely enough, the director of Hog Chapter 717, Harley-Davidson's southernmost U.S. owners group in Miami, Florida, has only been riding for 8 years.
There's just something about a Harley-Davidson that's unique in the world.
But now, the retired high school teacher spends much of his free time thinking Harley, talking Harley, or riding one of the 3 Harleys that sit in his garage. And while Mr. Martin's outward appearance might not immediately summon the likes of Peter Fonda or Evel Knievel, he is in fact well within Harley's most substantial consumer demographic, the 35-plus white male. While the Wisconsin-based motorcycle manufacturer is careful when discussing their consumer demographics, the storied bike manufacturer tipped its demographic hand a bit with the 2009 release of a 3-wheeled motorcycle, known as a trike.
Well, the response keeps growing year to year. It's now our 4th best-selling Harley-Davidson. It's up 30% this year, and we just introduced a brand new 3-wheeler called the Freewheeler.
For folks like Verben Martin, the introduction of the trike has made convincing his wife to go for a ride much simpler. As he says, it is much easier for her to maneuver her trike and far less physically demanding.
As you get in and out, especially if you go into the mountains and you're going into places, it gives her a lot more stability. With a 2-wheeler, a lot of times she'd struggle to keep it up, but on the trike, it's not an issue anymore.
Ergonomic advances aside, with a starting price of $32,999 US, the Tri-Glide Ultra might be a tough sell for riders just starting out, or for those trying to balance a family budget. And Harley knows this.
You know, this is the healthiest and most attitudinal generation that's ever been in the United States, and they're not looking to go quietly, and they're actually, you know, not really all that old. If you think about the breadth of baby boomers, many of them are in their lower 50s, and then onwards for upwards of 15 or 20 years from there that defines the generation.
Outside of this speculation, and despite their reluctance to talk about it, there is a wave of external data points supporting their push to cater to older riders. Progressive Insurance, one of America's largest car insurance agencies, says that in recent years they've seen a 3 to 4% increase in their 50-plus demographic seeking motorcycle insurance. And in Verben Martin's home state of Florida, there was a rather macabre data point supporting Harley's push. In a recent report, the University of South Florida's Center for Urban Transport found that crashes amongst riders in the 55 to 64 age range, as well as 65 and older, have been steadily increasing over the past 10 years. While this age group constitutes only 8 to 9% of the total motorcycle crashes in the state, Professor Chae-Young Lee says the rise in percentage points to a substantial change in the numbers of these riders.
It used to be like 4%, now is 8 to 9%. We are talking about doubling the certain category of the motorcycle riders.
Finally, the giant elephant in the room of any demographic discussion: the sheer volume of individuals turning 65 every day in the United States, a phenomenon that the country and businesses have never seen before.
They were famous when they were young, and now 10,000 baby boomers a day will turn 65 every single day between now and the year 2030.
And they'll be looking for something to do. For Verben Martin, that means riding his motorcycle, and more importantly, riding that motorcycle alongside his wife and members of his local riding group.
Having an organized group and having a reason to get together. If it was just for riding a bike, I wouldn't have one. For a lot of us, it gives us a reason to get up in the morning. It gives us something to do. You know, you got to spend your money somewhere. You might as well spend it on something you enjoy.
Christopher Booker, Financial Times, Miami, Florida.